Hello and welcome to the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show, hosted by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Bellomo, where we discuss all things estate planning and elder law, and well, hey, anything else we want to talk about. And on today's podcast, I have my friend Matt Halperin. Matt, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, Jeff. Thank you again for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to learn a little bit about what Matt does and how we got into it and what his kind of niche is. So it's going to be a little bit of a fun podcast today, and we probably won't talk too much estate planning and elder law. But before we get on to that topic, let me do a little disclaimer, as I always do. Please do not take advice from this show or any other show, for that matter, to constitute legal advice. If you're looking for legal advice, please call an attorney in your state, in your area, that practices in the area that you are looking for. This is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. And I don't think we're going to have any confusion today, given the topic. But I always like to give our disclaimer. And a reminder to my listeners, as you know, you can check us out on our podcast on anywhere you can get podcasts, as we are available in those areas. And within the estate planning and elder law firm of Bellomo and Associates, we offer free educational workshops on a weekly basis. We cover estate planning, crisis Medicaid planning, special needs planning, probate administration, and trust administration. If it's in the estate planning elder law area, we have education for you. You can attend them live, or you can attend them via live Zoom, or what the heck, on a link, and you can watch it in the comfort of your home whenever it suits you. If you have any interest in those areas, estate planning and elder law, please call the office at 717-845-5390, or check us out on the web at www.bellomoassociates.com. All right, well, Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
So I guess I fall under the everything else category.
Yes, sir.
A company called Backstay Digital, and we specialize in website design and development, along with cross-platform development. So on the cross-platform side, it's a little bit more complex. We really specialize in building an MVP, or a minimal viable product, for a company resolving to raise money for from VC or private equity. But we also help enterprise-level companies, even medium-sized businesses, develop apps for their business. On the other side, what our bread and butter is developing websites and marketing those websites for people in the professional services industries. Now that's really what we focus on, but we do help a wide range of clients, ranging from HVAC manufacturing companies all the way to nonprofits. But I'd say the bulk of it is, I guess, the niche would be UX and UI design and development, and it's something that we really focus on since our founding, and something that we're really proud of.
Wow, that's cool. How long have you been in business?
We haven't been in business too long. I started the company when I was in college, about 3 years ago. Yeah, I was a dorm room baby.
No way. And how did that even become kind of an idea you had in college? I wasn't thinking about business in college.
Neither was I. What happened was, before COVID had started back in 2019, I was kind of following the normal college route. I was interning in finance, I was an economics major, and I was planning on going into either investment banking or sales and trading after college. That kind of formed into, evolved into law, but by the middle of 2020, I'd say, I went all in on the website design and development area and the SEO. It was something that I found a passion for, maybe because I was burnt out from prior internships, but I think more accurately, it was just something that I enjoyed doing and something that didn't feel like work for me.
Oh, that's cool. And was your college in New York City, or?
My college was not in New York City. I went to Union College in upstate New York, which is a city called Schenectady, just south of Albany.
Very cool, very cool. So for the listeners, if you happen to hear honking of horns, or if you're watching this on a live podcast feed, or the show, and you're seeing this, you can tell that he is in New York City. So it is a cool backdrop. So if you're seeing this actually on the video and not just on the audio, man, it is a cool view. And I love the sounds of the horns going every now and then. So I just thought I would So if you were from upstate New York, what brought you to the city?
So I'm originally from Westchester, New York.
Oh, wow.
My parents would commute into the city, kind of the normal route. You start in Manhattan, you have kids, and then you head down to Westchester to raise your kids, but you still keep your job in the city. I am located on 48th Street, so we're right in the heart of Midtown, so there's going to be a lot of honking. Something that's
That's
a little
awesome.
distracting at times, but something I really enjoy. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. They say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. I don't know if that's true, but I try to, take the wins and kind of keep my mind on that sometimes.
Heck yeah. And you were mentioning earlier, I think before we got on the podcast, you're sort of, you have like a niche almost with your websites and stuff with professionals. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a big part, we do specialize in website design and development. That's really our niche. We really like to focus on working with individuals in the professional services areas. So think doctors, lawyers, accountants, really anyone that's offering a service for their time. But we do a lot of work with small businesses and medium-sized businesses, so there is quite a range. On the SEO side, that's where we really specialize in professional services. We deal with a lot of businesses that are in highly competitive areas in terms of SEO. A big one is personal injury and employment attorneys, for example. The keywords are very competitive, and we have had a lot of success in helping these businesses rank, which is why I would say that's really the area that we like to build and optimize websites for specifically.
Wow. Now, do you work with a lot of people in New York City, or do you work with people all over the country?
It really ranges. I'd say a large majority of our business is in New York. However, we do have clients elsewhere. We have clients in Texas, California, South Florida, but our being physically located in Manhattan has given us an advantage in that we're able to work with these businesses, and that's one of the things that we really considered when I was kind of figuring out where I wanted to be. At some point, I was thinking of moving down to South Florida, moving to Miami, and working out there. But I really like the idea of living and working in the city. Also, the city hustle culture kind of helps when you're trying to run a business.
Oh, that's cool, man. That is so neat. You don't have to name names, but do you remember your first full-fledged client that paid well? Is that some memory that you have clearly?
That's a good question. I'd say one of my first clients in general was actually someone that was on your podcast, Will Ferrero and Private Law.
And that is how we met, right? Right,
yeah,
Matt?
that is how we met.
I was going to mention that later. I love it. Yeah, Will was on a prior podcast, and he's also a fellow attorney, and I think primarily in the Ohio and Pennsylvania areas where he does a lot of his nursing home litigation. But yeah, go ahead, Matt. That's cool.
I'd say one of my first real businesses where I charge my rate would be with an orthopedics, an orthopedic surgeon, HMP Orthopedics. I'll give the shameless plug. I'd say that was my first real hard-hitting website because we did a lot of stuff in there. One thing that I was particularly proud of what we did was a HIPAA-compliant records portal that allowed attorneys and third parties and patients to submit records requests online instead of having to do the old-fashioned way, either via snail mail or via fax.
Wow.
It was one of the things that I was proud of because it was a solution to a big problem. It was a small practice firm, a medical firm, and they didn't have a dedicated person just dealing with their intake for records requests. And they also dealt with a lot of no-faults, and they did revision surgery, so a lot of malpractice cases came through there, and with malpractice cases comes records requests. So we were able to build them and a portal that organizes their data and allows them to quickly and in an organized manner, I can't stress that enough because that was their biggest problem, receive requests and send records to patients and third parties. So I'd say that was my really first hard-hitting website. But before that, I had done a lot of smaller websites, think 10 to 12 page, informational only, different websites.
Wow, that sounds awesome, man.
That wasn't too long ago. That was about a year and a half ago. I mean, before then, again, we were still doing websites. But that
Right.
was the one where I kind of had my moment where I said, wow, I can do a lot more of these websites. I can do better websites than I thought. And it's something that's really pushed me to where I am today.
That's cool, man. And have you gotten any of similar businesses because of that one? Sometimes it springs you into a specialty area. You start to do more of those, or
Yes and no. I work with a lot of attorneys that saw that website.
cool.
If you're a law firm and you're submitting a records request, you're gonna go on their website and my name's at the bottom, my business name. So we've gotten a lot of leads and a lot of clients out of that. But I'd say another big one that was similar was for a company called Prospanica. It's really a foundation, and they provide millions of dollars in scholarships every year. But the reason why I was particularly proud of it is because their focus is on helping Hispanic individuals attain higher education, and they have a huge Rolodex of members that are professionals that work at Fortune 500 companies or C-suite executives, and that has also really helped catapult me to where I am today. So I'd say I call my clients brand evangelists because in a way they really help me increase my network of clients, prospects, and leads.
Oh, very cool. And you kind of mentioned, what is the name of your business?
It's called Backstay Digital. It's an interesting name.
Yeah.
Everyone confuses it with Backstage, but the backstay is actually a piece of hardware in a sailboat, and it holds the mast up. So if you lose the backstay, you lose the mast, and the whole everything comes crashing down. And in a way, I like to think of my company as an integral part to someone's business because we're building them a website. And this website, in today's digital age, it's really like your digital storefront. It's how people find you. So the name seemed very fitting at the time, and I have no plans on ever changing it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like it. So Backstay, like S-T-A-Y?
S-T-A-Y, that's correct.
Yeah, cool.
And it has
that is
the meaning to me. It has, I'm a big offshore sailor. One of my great pride, hobbies, I should say, is competing in offshore events. Sailing across the Atlantic, really sailing from point A to point B, and going through some heavy weather in between. More often than not. So I wanted to kind of combine, something I really enjoy with the work that I really enjoy, and it just seemed very fitting at the time, and it still does.
Which also makes sense why you were looking at Miami, probably, huh?
Great sailing in Miami.
Is it really? That's cool.
I will never live anywhere that is landlocked.
Ah.
So when I was considering where I was going to be, I had to take that into account. It made life a little bit more difficult, but it's priorities.
Yeah, and it worked out well for you. That is awesome. Cool. You working on any projects now moving forward, like currently that you're trying to get through, or?
One project that I'm particularly proud of that we're about to finalize, I'd say we're in the red zone, is for a company called Le Café Coffee. It's a small coffee chain in the city. When I say small, they have about 18 locations. So small compared to their competitors. But we're launching that soon. They're doing a very large-scale marketing campaign, and we're launching it alongside an app that they're developing for grab-and-go orders. Effectively, they have beautiful spaces, but during rush hour, the lines can get long. So the solution we came up with to this problem, and I was doing a lot of consulting work for them even before they considered the app. But one of the big problems are these lines. So developing a grab-and-go app will really take care of the spikes they see during rush hour. And by rush hour, really right around lunchtime, right after lunchtime, but also in the morning between 8 and 10 a.m. when people are on their way to work.
Oh, wow. So they'll just order on their app, show up, pick up their food, and walk away.
Exactly. So a big part of my job is coming up with solutions to different problems. It's something that I like to do in my downtime too. I think that's the best way to come up with a business. Find a problem and figure out a solution. And a lot of the clients that approach me, they always have a problem they want to address. It's not always. I'd say sometimes it's very straightforward. Hey, we need a website. But I think a lot of the time, we have this problem. We need a solution. We want it to involve a website.
That's cool, man. That is really neat.
Yeah, it's all about digital solutions, and it's something that I think really sets me apart from other designers and developers. I have a wonderful team of designers and developers that can code in pretty much any language you can imagine. They're full stack developers. And I work with some really talented designers that can really help bring our client's vision to reality. And I'm a designer and developer myself.
Oh, cool. Wow. How many team members do you work with now?
So we have 2 designers right now, and we have 2 developers.
Oh,
We
sweet.
are hoping to expand soon. Hopefully by the end of the summer we'll have a bigger team. But right now it's very fitting for the kind of projects that we take on in terms of scope and scale, but also in terms of the volume that we take on every month.
That's cool, man. That is really neat. Very cool. Is there anything else you want to mention or talk about? If somebody was looking for you, where would they find you at?
They can find me at backstaydigital.com. That is BACKSTAY, digital.com. And I guess I could leave you with one thing. It would be, I do a lot of networking, and I get a lot of referrals. And the first thing I do when I get back to my desk is I like to look them up and see what they're about. And often, I say more often than not, that website, that first impression will make or break whether or not I give them a call. So whether or not you choose to, take on a website for promotional reasons is one thing, but you should really be thinking about how much money you're leaving on the table, because your website isn't as good as it should be or could be, or just that you don't have a website, period.
At all. Wow.
About establishing yourself online, and having a website really gives you some level of legitimacy that others don't have. And I understand a lot of people are old school, but in today's day and age, in 2023, having a website really does make all the difference.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, and what a good way to end it. I love it.
Study yourself, Jeff. You have a great website.
Thank you. Thank you. It's we had it redone about a year ago, I think, maybe a year and a half ago, and before that, I don't think you would have said the same thing, Matt. So, but hey, you know what? We all have to evolve. It was a basic one to get us going, and then we went ahead and kind of upgraded from there.
The average, I say the average process. You start off with a basic website. And then once you kind of dealt with that, you can create a website that really lasts 5 to 7 years.
Right.
It's a lot cheaper than people think. If a website's built properly, to overhaul it, I call it giving it a facelift. So changing around the branding guidelines, the colors, the fonts, the overall layout. On a properly developed website, it's a lot less daunting than you might think. So just having a good starter, a good foundation really is key.
That's awesome, man. Very cool. Well, I want to thank you, Matt, for joining us. And to my listeners, please check Matt out, Backstay Digital. And it is stay as in S-T-A-Y. I thought he was saying stage, which is perfect because he did clarify that. So please check Matt out. Came to us from a dear friend, and certainly want to do anything we can to help our friends and Matt in particular. So if you're looking for a website or digital needs, please give him a call and check him out. He is in New York City and works with people all over the country, so he'd be more than happy to do that. If you are in the York, Lancaster, Pennsylvania area, please check us out at BellomoAssociates.com or give us a call, 717-845-5390, for all things estate planning and elder law. If you're looking for education, we offer them on a weekly basis, and you can watch them live Zoom, or on a link in the comfort of your home at any time you want. We'd be more than happy to give you education for free. And what happened to my family won't happen to yours in that hospital room. So thank you for joining us on today's podcast with my friend Matt Halperin. And we had a great time. So we'll see you until next time. We'll see you real soon.